la bambina che va a fare la cosa.
I'll see you again.
No, we have met, I think.
Yes,
John
with
Cordaro.
John Cordaro.
Yeah.
Yes, with Rongazza.
Yes. Okay. Do you have some PowerPoint?
Yeah, we have some
Great.
slides.
That's good.
Or one, probably they want to cut it.
Hi, Jose. Come, please sit here. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. So nice to see people here at 8:30. I know it's going to be worthwhile you coming here early and being in the room with us this morning. Also, anyone who's joining us online, really glad to have you here. I'm pleased to offer some opening remarks for this Investing in Youth to Reduce Inequalities on implementing the policy recommendations on youth and agri-food systems. My name is Martin de Groot. I'm the Deputy Permanent Representative of Canada here based in Rome. And I had the pleasure of being deeply involved in the negotiations for the youth policy recommendations, alongside with private sector mechanism and a number of other participants and member states. We have a really exciting lineup of panelists. It's a full slate this morning, so you'll have a good show, and we hope this will make your time valuable. As you listen to them, there's three things that I'd like you to pay attention to. Why it's necessary to invest in youth, why it's possible, how it's possible to invest in youth, and what the payoff is, what makes it worthwhile to do that. You'll hear from the panelists a little bit about barriers and challenges that they've faced. You'll hear concrete examples of what they've been doing, how they've actually made it possible. And while it's still early, you'll get a little bit as well about the results and what the payoff is. That's for them to tell you that story. I'll tell you a little bit about how we got here with the policy recommendations. The necessity of having policy recommendations on youth is probably clear to everyone in the room. In the work stream for CFS 4 years ago now, it was identified as a gap in the CFS suite of policy documents that there was nothing addressing youth. And as a result, in 2021, there was a request to the high-level panel of experts to develop a report, sort of a state-of-the-art of youth engagement in agriculture and food systems. If you haven't seen the report, it's worth looking on the high-level panel of experts website. It's 158 pages or so. It's a lot of information there, and that'll get you into all of the details that'll spare you this morning myself. But what was really important coming out of that is that working on youth engagement, youth employment, is an end in itself. It's something we need to work on directly, but it's also a means to an end, as a way to transform food systems through the energy and creativity of youth and what that can bring to the food systems. And coming out of the report and what ended up in the guidance is 5 areas of importance that needed to be addressed. One was increasing engagement and generating an enabling environment for youth to be engaged. Second was around livelihoods, allowing for dignified, attractive, and rewarding livelihoods for youth in agriculture. Then we get to resources, access to physical resources, infrastructure, markets, and soft side resources, education, skills, capacity building. And all of that being pulled forward with innovation that's sustainable and that's inclusive. And with those 5 elements, we should be able to do better with youth. And that's what ended up in the policy recommendations. Getting to the policy recommendations, making that possible, there was 3 things that I think were the essential ingredients. It was the leadership, it was the persistence, and it was the flexibility of everyone who participated. I have to flag Switzerland's leadership of the process. They were the rapporteur and provided excellent leadership. But I think as well, the participation and the leadership of youth delegations, PSM's youth delegation, CSIPM's youth delegation, those provided a perspective that allowed us to move much further and with greater ambition and greater realism in what we did. Flexibility was required, of course, as well, because there was trade-offs to be made between different contexts, different realities, different levels of ambition, and different levels of constraints. But in the end, when we crystallized it out to a document, we're now at the stage of implementation. And at that point, what we've defined on paper now gets to be tested, field tested by all of these people at the front here. And that will also stretch the meaning, it'll ground truth that meaning, and in that, we'll see the payoffs. And talking about the payoffs, I'd just like to say a few words of examples from Canada that inspired us in our engagement. One is on the enabling environment. In 2019, Canada generated its first youth policy through an inclusive process with 5,000 youth developing a policy for the whole of government by youth for youth. Coming out of that, there was an Agricultural Youth Council created. And that Agricultural Youth Council was generated to provide advice to the Ministry of Agriculture, to the Minister of Agriculture, and indeed to ourselves here on this process, providing direct input from Canadian farmers, youth across the country. And that's allowed us to have a much greater level of nuance, detail, on what the barriers and opportunities are for youth. They've offered advice on gene editing, on national school feeding programs, on sustainability strategies, and really grounded that in the reality of youth. A second example on access to resources is a program we've done internationally in providing access to finance in Colombia, ensuring that youth have the right kind of education on financial resources, working with commercial banks so that they can generate products that are directly tailored to the needs of youth, and then providing incentives to make more money get available to those youth. So I think there's really obvious benefits to doing this. I think you're going to hear that directly from our panelists. With that, that's the story of how we got to where we are right now, and now you're going to hear the future with the rest of the panelists. I'll hand it over to Nela. Thank you.
Pushed. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. de Groot, both for your welcoming remarks and for your important contributions to the youth negotiations that have been going on and that now, hopefully, very soon, or are already being implemented or need to lead to implementation across the globe. My name is Nele Herman Valenci. I'm currently the chair of ENGINE, the Next Gen Agriculture Impact Network, and I'm also a representative of the private sector with Bayer. Before we head into this panel, which I have the pleasure of moderating with 10 young leaders in the agri-food system, let me just share, add on what Martin already shared. Today, 50% of the world population are under the age of 30 or just at the age of 30. This looks different in certain regional realities where people are even much younger. At the same time, decision makers oftentimes are twice that age. So they don't inherit the decisions that are taken today and the results of these decisions. They also don't inherit the food system's successes and also failures that are being put on track today. So we need to include young people for the resilience of the system, for the sustainability of solutions, and for a better future for the planet, for nutrition, for the people, for the whole ecosystem. We are also still very far from eradicating poverty and hunger and all the interlinked SDGs. We have diversity being threatened around the globe. And of course, we are witnessing the devastating effects of climate change around the globe at an ever accelerated pace. So really, we need action. It is very important. Now, I could continue with the big challenges, but we're all aware of them. What we really should focus on today is the solutions. And we have here 5 organizations represented by 10 young people that will bring solutions to the table. And I can assure you, through my work with young people are up for the challenge. Never has the world seen so much purpose, sense of purpose, so much of a selfless commitment to finding solutions that will make the people and the planet thrive and actually stay or become healthy. So in all of this, it's important to recognize the multi-stakeholder effort that has already been going on at the CFS and that we now need to continue in order to bring the implementations into the world. It is important to work together across all the stakeholder segments governments included, academia, the private sector, the civil society sector, think tanks, philanthropies. I mean, there are more even than that. International organizations, of course, included. And our timing is limited. So we need to address these things now. We need to implement now. We have the guidelines, so we can act on them now. And one thing, and I'm wrapping up by that, that is very important, is that we keep in mind the initiatives, the organizations, the projects that are already there. And we'll see 5 examples here. We need to scale them. We need to provide the backbone for them to scale up on and to be impactful, so that the guidelines can be implemented and come to full fruition and don't gather dust somewhere. So with that, in fact, I would now like to turn the floor over to the young outstanding individuals representing 5 organizations, but also millions of other youth. And let's hear about their contributions to the implementation of the CFS policy guidelines, but also let's listen to what challenges they face and how we might be able to overcome them. After their contributions, we are going to have some room for conversation, so please keep your questions ready, or your comments as well. And as said before, it is very important we all work together on this, and we give the young people a real voice and a real vote in setting the tracks for the future. So thank you, those are my framing remarks, and now I would like to directly go into it and hand it over to our first organization here, IAS, the International Association of Students in Agriculture and Related Sciences, with Omar Farhate and Kenneth Obayuana. Take it away.
All right, thank you very much for having us. My name is Kenneth Obayuana. I'm the National Director, International Association of Agricultural Students and Other Related Sciences, the UK chapter. I'm also the head of the food security think tank at the Food and Agricultural Youth Institute. Today, we want to look at a critical topic, technology and knowledge transfer, but between producers and production sector for accelerating innovations and technological solutions. But let me begin by quickly sharing a story that highlights the essence of our discussion today. In a small village, there was a farmer named Jack. Jack was known for his innovative farming methods and his ability to grow remarkable crops. One day, a young entrepreneur called Sarah visited the farm. Sarah had just completed a course in advanced agricultural technology and was eager to apply her knowledge. Jack and Sarah started a conversation, and Jack had years of practical experiences, while Sarah had the latest technology insights. As they talked, they realized the incredible potentials of working together. Jack could benefit from Sarah's advanced techniques, and Sarah could learn valuable real-world lessons from Jack. They decided to collaborate. Jack taught Sarah about the village's unique farming condition, and Sarah introduced Jack to cutting-edge tools and practices. Over time, they've transferred the farming method in the village, yield improved, and village become a model of sustainable agriculture. This simple story illustrates how the transfer of knowledge and technology, even between young people and older people from different backgrounds, can lead to remarkable innovations and solutions. It is a reflection of the power we have when we bring together the wisdom of experience and the innovation of technology. And this also led me to borrow the quote from Thomas Edison: "The value of an idea lies in the use of it." So this idea is at the heart of what we explore today, and how to take the knowledge and technology and apply them in meaningful ways. But we also have some challenges which I will quickly highlight in technology and knowledge transfer. Number one challenges we have here is insufficient capacity building for young people to come together. And for us to resolve this issue, we need to have mentorship programs, we need to have capacity building trainees that brings young people together, because there's insufficient capacity building for young people to come together. Number two, knowledge and technological transfer barriers. There is barriers in transferring knowledge. Barriers in the process of transferring knowledge and technology can significantly hinder progress. And these barriers may include language barriers. And some of the ways for us to tackle some of these language barriers is for us to overcome these challenges necessary to developing standard standardized practice and multilingual resources and intercultural training programs. Number 3 is access to finance. Access to finance is often a crucial factor in successful technology and knowledge transfer. Many young innovators, many young startups, many young entrepreneurs and small businesses face challenges in securing the necessary funds to implement some of this new technology. A lot of us young people, we have ideas, we are very innovative, but we lack finances to fund our ideas, to bring our ideas into reality. Lastly is linking young farmers to market. And this is a very significant challenge that we experience. We don't know how to take some of our produce to the market, and some of the ways for us to maybe to overcome it could be if there's enough information for us. Where is the market for us? We are innovative. We have the ideas. We want to take some of our work to the market, but we don't know. We don't have information on where the market is. So these are some of the challenges that is beforeing us in the technology and knowledge transfer. Thank you very much. I hand over to my colleague Omar.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much. My name is Omar. I am the former president of the International Association of Students in Agricultural and Related Sciences. We've heard a lot about challenges that young people are facing around the world. We've heard a lot about access to finance from Kenneth, about capacity building. One of the most important components of the youth policy recommendations is enabling environment, as was mentioned before. And Nele also highlighted that we should not keep talking about the challenges, but rather reflect on the solutions that we are doing on the ground as young people. But I'm really proud of my student association, as I'm the former president. Unfortunately, the current president could not stay here for the CFS, but he has trusted me and told me to represent this organization that has been operating since 66 years. That is currently the oldest student association in the field of agriculture and largest with over 10,000 people. This is just to tell you that young people realized a long time ago in the 50s that we can only be stronger if we come together. And even before CFS was created, or even less before the CFS Policy Recommendations of Youth have been launched, we have been implementing best practices on the ground. And if I have to speak about what this organization is doing for the last 66 years, I will need probably 66 years to tell you what we've been doing. But if I would summarize it, and as we like to always do, is to summarize it in 3 words: aspiration, advocacy, and action. And when I say aspiration, I mean that we aspire to engage with different organizations from, we are here at FAO, so we've been engaged a lot with the FAO, with the World Food Forum. We signed the first letter of agreement with the FAO in 2021, worth 35,000 euros, where we accelerated youth-led projects in climate resilient agriculture. And many of them we've talked about finance, and 35,000 euros, I've been talking about this at the dinner 2 days ago, and many of us said 35,000 is not that much when you compare to the extent of the need of young people and the amount of young people that need this finance. But it's still empowered many young people, and many of these have been able to get additional funding from that. So that's one thing. We also engage with different youth organizations. There's the World Food Forum that is also youth-led. There is YPAR, the IFSA. I would have to spend, again, a lot of time to tell you all of them, with private sector, with NGOs, with civil society organizations, among others. Second A is advocacy, and we created the Food and Agriculture Youth Institute to take key messages from the grassroots, from the bottom, to the decision makers, to the world leaders, by creating consultation processes, by drafting position papers and defending them at COP, at World Food Forum, here at CFS and beyond. And this takes me to the last A, which is action. So we have on the ground several youth-led projects. I don't know the number now, but at my time it was about 30 projects happening in parallel over the world, where we empower and work with rural communities. But this is just to tell you that young people can also be advocates. They can represent the needs of their local communities. They can drive resilience and social change, and they can be innovators. I've taken the floor with Kenneth earlier, but we will see what all these young people are doing on the ground. We can come up with the most creative solutions out there for climate change, for food security, for nutrition, and for every challenge that we can mention. And most importantly, we can be troublemakers. And if we are not on your side, you don't want us on the other side. So we are not scared to bring the neglected areas around us to the table and hold world leaders accountable for their actions and promises. But this is just to tell you that young people should be treated as an equal partner and as an implementer of change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omar and Kenneth. We are not scared. We're hoping to collaborate more, and congratulations on the great work that you're doing. So actually, please do keep it up, and hopefully we'll find the funds that really accelerate everything here that is being shared here today. Now, you mentioned the World Food Forum, and I hope everyone knows the World Food Forum. It just passed last week. So now we have the World Food Forum presenting with Abdullah Maruf and Samuel Pablo Parera. Take it away.
Thank you. So some of you have the pleasure to join World Food Forum last week, but for those who missed the chance, I would be happy to share a brief overview about World Food Forum. So World Food Forum was founded in 2021 by FAO Youth Committee, and it's a youth-led, open and inclusive space and independent platform of youth and network of partners facilitated by FAO. And World Food Forum sparks a global movement of youth for the youth to transform our agri-food system. So we have on the center annual flagship event, but I have a slide prepared for you to understand well, but I think technical people are working hard to bring it on. But on the center, we have the annual flagship event as one of the examples that World Food Forum is working to empower young people to shape our food system. So not only our flagship event, you have been hearing about flagship event around, but we have activities all year round, and we have 5 different tracks to work all year around to create awareness around the forum. We have our culture track. So culture track uses the common language to connect with people through music, through concert, through culinary activities, through art. There is an art festival is going on, so if you feel free, it's in Ortho Botanical Garden. And on the center, we have Youth Assembly. So Youth Assembly works with youth action and global policies. So on the policy side, we work with youth to develop the capacity development. We work on the Youth Action Assembly to provide young people a space to talk, share their policy recommendation, and develop a compendia. And on the action side, we have focus on different initiatives. Food Lost and Waste campaign is one of them. And we also have education track, which unites schools, kids and teachers, experts, young group around the world through food education, providing them knowledge and tools that inspires young people, inspires especially kids to become an advocate for change in the future. I can talk a lot about Innovation Lab and localization, but I would hand over the floor to Pablo to share about Innovation Lab.
Thank you, Abdullah. So in the Innovation Lab, we believe that we can only achieve systemic change if we work together, and we put youth at the central of everything. And we do it especially with these three main activities, main projects that we are doing since the first year of the World Food Forum, which we have on one side a research challenge, research competitions for youth aged 18 to 35 years old from think tank, from academia. And on the other side, we also have more established startup competitions for youth entrepreneurs who already have their own tangible, marketable solutions, either in their respective countries or respective region. And in the middle to connect these both sides of research, ideation stage innovation, and more tangible startups innovations, we have, for the first time this year, we built an incubation lab together with the Wageningen University, which we call the Youth Food Lab. And these 3 is the main activities that we are doing within the World Food Forum to showcase innovations and solutions to transform our agri-food systems from youth, especially from the Global South. And in supporting mechanism of these 3 main activities, we also have master classes and a lot of innovation partnerships together with other UN agencies, also with other private sector, and also some other organizations. I can show you one example. For example, we collaborate with 2 uplink challenges that created by the World Economic Forum. And these are some of the key numbers and statistics and achievement that we had, that we just finished last week through our World Food Forum flagship event. So on the first one, on our research challenge, we have over 450 applications, and majority of it from the Global South, and more than 270 applications, especially from Sub-Saharan Africa. And at the end, we have around 20 teams as a finalist. And this year we do some thematic special prizes in collaborations of several partners to bring in funding to give to showcase and to scale up the research solutions that provided by these teams. So we have several special prizes, global one held with Wageningen University, the role of water in agri-food systems. We co-hosted it together with the International Water Management Institute based in MENA region. We have our special prize on food action and climate actions. We collaborate together with IFAD, and also 2 other special prizes on peste de petit ruminant, the sheep and goat plague, we together with the FAO PPR divisions, and on reducing food loss and food waste together with FAO food loss and food waste team. And on the Youth Food Lab, our incubation program, since this is our first year, we developed a pilot 10 global youth team, a winner from our previous research competitions, and also a winner from some challenges that created by the Wageningen University. And we have at the end, for 9 months, these global youth teams, they receive mentorship and training how to build a business plan, whether they want to move into a more for-profit startup directions or non-profit directions. So we facilitate both of them. And also at the end, these teams receive some fundings, seed funding from the Dutch Ministry of Agriculture to scale up their project. And I can show you that the 4 best teams of this Youth Food Lab is all located in the Global South. We have one team, Bees and Trees from Uganda. They're working more on beekeeping and agroforestry. We have one team from Bolivia, Banco Alimentos de Bolivia, the food bank of Bolivia, working in Cochabamba as the pioneer of food bank in their country. We have Pura from Brazil, which is working on regenerative agriculture, reforestations in the south area of Brazil, who for many years were deforested because of plantations and cattle activities over there, and they focus on the reforestation of native vegetations. And one team from Indonesia, Mama for Planet, who are working on empowering mothers as to reduce food waste from household level. And the last, we also have our Startup Innovation Awards, and this year we have over 130 entrants from 45 countries. And we shortlisted to 34 semifinalists from 20 countries, with more than half is from the Global South. And on our startup, we use the category of our FAO for Betters, and our winner actually is from Nigeria, because they're working on a very transformative, disruptive innovations to establish a crop bank to reduce post-harvest level and post-harvest loss, and supporting farmers as a price maker. So that's a brief case from our innovation lab, and I will hand back to Abdullah.
Well, as in World Food Forum, challenges, and we all know that all agri-food challenges in agri-food system are shared, but they are inherently local. So we need local actions, solutions on the ground. We need to build our agri-food system from ground up. And at World Food Forum, we are at the forefront of this mission we're working on our localization strategies and also creating national chapters. So by national chapters, we are providing youth an open and inclusive space so that youth from all sorts of life, from different expertise, different background come together and talk about solution on their local level. So we're not replicating any of the efforts that currently ongoing by the youths. We're bringing all together so that they can have a collaborative and combined activities on the ground. I think we have some slides to share. There are some numbers and our representation where we are, you can see. But we have currently 12 national chapters. World Food Programme started national chapter creating these years. But I think we have also discussion initiated in 15 countries, and we're hoping to engage more. And it's an open and inclusive platform, as I also mentioned. So we're also focusing on reducing inequalities by that. And also with the World Food Forum, we see we're looking at the opportunities to involve youth on local level, both on policies, education, and local initiatives, and working closely with national pathways in their countries. So there can be collaboration between UN Food System Hub and national conveners to convey those local action. And also it's a local initiative responding to the recommendation made by CFS Youth Policy Recommendation. And I think it's also crucial to think about investment. I would echo the voice from IASH. They also mentioned the investment in youth side is less. And it's also crucial to invest on education, on capacity development for youth, as also IASH also focusing on that. This year, we have launched an initiative called Youth Skills Hub. So it's a platform with 4 pillars. We have one online library for improving technical knowledge and supporting youth to kickstart their impactful career. We have masterclass with 60 minutes of recording from experts with interactive Q&A session, and capacity development training with a focus on policy writing and negotiation. I think all of you will agree education and capacity development is important, and your investment could potentially expand our reach in transforming countless lives and transforming local agri-food systems. So I would say invest in youth and invest in our future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abdullah and Pablo. This was very insightful. I hope everyone learned something. So let's now take it over to GACSA with Valentina Vitale and Josiane Irakalama. And just as a kind reminder, please mind your time. This is, of course, not fair because you're only starting.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, good morning to you all. My name is Valentina Vitale, and I'm the Partnership Specialist of the Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture, an inclusive, voluntary and action-oriented multi-stakeholder platform on climate smart agriculture. It is a pleasure for me to stand here today to shed light on the pivotal role of the Global Alliance of Climate Smart Agriculture in shaping science-based decision-making for climate action in the context of food systems, as well as fostering youth involvement to mitigate inequalities. In a world facing the ever-growing challenges of climate change, GACSA emerges as a beacon of collaboration, championing between actors in food systems, including young farmers. It aims uniting diverse stakeholders to advocate for equitable, climate-smart agricultural practices and sculpting a resilient future where agriculture and food systems thrive despite environmental challenges. At its core, GACSA facilitates innovation-based decision-making, a methodology that seamlessly integrates traditional wisdom with cutting-edge research. This approach not only respects the time-tested practices of our young and non-young farmers, but also leverages the power of technology to inform sustainable strategies. As we witness the youth stepping into the forefront of agriculture and food systems, GACSA recognizes the crucial role of young farmers and acts as a catalyst, ensuring that the policy recommendations put forward by the CFS are not only mere words on paper, but dynamic instruments of change. So how we do that? By actively involving them in the management of innovative actions, GACSA fosters a collective intelligence that is both informed by tradition and empowered by innovation. This synergy between traditional practices and scientific advancement not only enhances the resilience of food system, but also ensures the active participation and the well-being of the very individuals, as well as nurturing the potential of the younger generation to drive meaningful transformation. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, GACSA serves as a catalyst for change, bridging the gap between age-old agricultural practices and the demand of a rapidly changing climate. As we navigate the complexities of our global food system, let us rally behind the principles of innovation-based decision-making championed by GACSA, fostering a sustainable future where tradition and innovation can work hand in hand and stand united through the collaboration and shared vision so we can triumph over the inequalities that linger in agriculture and the food systems. Thank you so much.
Josiane?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Josiane Irakarama. I'm a young farmer from Ingabo Syndicate in Rwanda, which is a member of the World Farmers Organization. The World Farmers Organization is also a member of GACSA. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I would like to share the role of science in agriculture and how this helps us farmers, including young farmers, to make informed decisions on our farms. This is through sustainable farming practices, where increasingly we are reliant on scientific advancements to adopt sustainable farming practices. These methods helps us conserve resources, reduce environmental impact, and ensure the long-term viability of our farms. The second is how science has played a vital role in developing crop varieties that are more resilient to pests, diseases, and changing climate conditions. This not only boosts our yields, but also minimizes the need for chemical inputs. The third is how modern technology and scientific tools enable us to practice precision agriculture. By using data analytics and remote sensing, we can make more informed decisions about our irrigation, fertilization, and pest control methods, thereby improving resource efficiency. Innovation and technology should always be a farmer-driven approach, as well as sustainable and inclusive to boost young farmers' potential. This is referring to the CFS Youth Policy Recommendations. Here, I'm also going to talk about one of the projects of the World Farmers Organization named Climakers Project, where science helps us to adopt the challenges posed by climate change. Research into drought-resistant crops and climate-smart practices assist farmers in mitigating the effects of extreme weather events. This is one of the reasons why WFO has adopted the Farmers-Driven Climate Change Agenda through the Climakers Project that aims to establish a global alliance uniting farmers worldwide with research institutions, private sector associations, civil society organizations, and multilateral entities. Together, they work to strengthen their capacity to influence decision-making processes on climate change and promote science-based farmer-driven solutions for climate resilience and sustainability in agriculture. Through science, we can optimize the use of resources like water, land, and energy. This not only reduces our costs, but also lessens the environmental impact of farming. In addition to that, scientific advancements in animal husbandry and genetics have led to healthier and more productive livestock, benefiting both farmers and consumers. On top of that, science aids in the development of safe and high-quality products, enabling farmers to access international markets, enhancing our income and boosting our livelihoods. This contributes to creating an enabling environment also for us young farmers to choose agriculture as a career, referring to the CFS Policy Recommendations on youth as well. And then comes the WFO Scientific Council, which is a distinguished body comprising 15 global scientists, experts, and professors. This council plays a pivotal role in equipping the World Farmers Organization with the best scientific advice to further enhancing the science-sound perspectives of farmers' voice in international debate and agriculture and food systems. We work together with passionate scientists and experts who share our vision to join us in driving farmer-driven, solution-oriented, and science-based approach to global agriculture decision-making. Together, we can shape more sustainable and resilient future for agriculture. Therefore, for science to continue benefiting us farmers, there must be continued investment in agriculture research, adequate funding and support for scientists and institutions are essential. Also, we need to mention youth-led research as key to engage young farmers and leverage on our expertise and real needs related to food systems, climate change, among others. And here we are again referring to the CFS Youth Policy Recommendation. And most importantly, we need to respect local knowledge. While science is invaluable, it's crucial to acknowledge and integrate traditional and local knowledge into modern agriculture. A harmonious blend of science and tradition can yield the best results towards achieving food security. Henceforth, it is clear that science plays a crucial role in shaping the future of agriculture from a young farmer's perspective, and how collaboration with institutions such as GACSA, as my friend here has referred before, it is vital in harnessing this potential. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Josiane and Valentina, sorry. Thank you for your contributions. We have to very swiftly move on because we are running out of time and we do want our audience to also be able to comment or ask questions. So please, the word is now over to our Engine ambassadors, representative of Engine, Femi Adekoya, and joining us virtually at a very early hour, so showing her selfless commitment for sure, Ana Carolina Zimmermann from Brazil.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Femi Adekoya. I'm a next generation agricultural impact ambassador who is a farmer from Nigeria, and I'm also an agri-tech entrepreneur who uses drone technology to provide empowerment to farmers to farm smarter, better, and more productively. I also engage in training of youth to become tech-inclined and digitally savvy farmers. It is no news that youth are actually a significant part of our society, and our active engagement in the agri-food system actually brings in fresh ideas, innovation, and technological creativity and acumen into the space to help us solve our challenging problems such as climate change, and also helping us promote sustainable practices. And this is more reason why we need to actually invest in the youth who are engaged in the agri-food system. However, these youth are actually posed with gamut of challenges, you know, and I would like to express that with a quote from one of my friends. He says, "I'm in my early 30s. I'm an energetic youth with a degree in agriculture. I've taken farming as my livelihood, but I'm frightened by the looming low income, and he says that he's afraid that farmers are actually sacrificial lambs to actually have a food security to the society while their lives are threatened." Yes, this is actually the reality. If we want to actually list the challenges because of lack of access to resources like finance, land, and technology, and also sometimes market. Low standard of living, rural-urban migration, lack of inclusion in decision-making, skill gap and knowledge gap, low return on investment, you know, when they actually get engaged in agriculture, and more importantly, the lack of social protection for them. But we already have the solution. We already have the recommendations, which is the CFS Policy Recommendation on youth in terms of engagement, which is actually centered around five objectives. One is to actually promote an enabling environment, availing enabling environment for this youth to actually engage and to also be employed gainfully, and also securing them a dignified, attractive, and a decent livelihood. And also availing of resources, which is providing equitable access to youth to resources, infrastructure, and market. And another objective is to actually promote equitable and access to knowledge, and skill innovation to them, you know, which comes through mentorship, through coaching, through scholarships, and a lot more that we can actually create. And lastly, promotion of sustainable and inclusive innovation for the youth, innovations that can actually attract them, that can actually allow them to actually strive in the field of agriculture, promoting these innovations. However, you know, these recommendations will actually lie dormant without us acting on them, without us investing in the implementation of this policy. And one of the organizations that is actually spearheading the solution, the implementation of this recommendation is the Next Generation Agricultural Impact Network, Engine, which is actually a global network of networks for, with, and by the next generation agricultural leaders, who are actually these young people. And Engine gives young change maker a voice, a vote, and a role in the agricultural ecosystem for impact. Now, I would like to end with this quote. It says, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." And I also say it again to re-echo, the best way for us to actually have a future where there is inequality, where we have a sustainable agri-food system, is for us to actually create it by investing in it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Femi. Ana Carolina, please take the floor.
Good day, everyone. As Nella said, here is 4 a.m. so already, and I'm grateful for being here. I'm Ana Carolina Zimmerman, a Brazilian farmer and an Engine ambassador, the Next Generation Ag Impact Program. To be very honest, I'm only a farmer for 2.5 years, and so much has happened since then. And this is the result of many opportunities I had and I took. And as a part of the Brazilian Confederation of Livestock and Agriculture Youth Program, I have learned in depth the challenges of my country's agribusiness, and also how it could contribute for Brazil to take its place as a provider of solutions in the global agri-food systems and also in the global environmental arena. As an field scholar, I'm still learning about context, empathy, sharing, long life learning, protagonism, and best practices. As Engine, a coalition created by youth for youth, I'm learning about collaboration, advocacy, multi-stakeholder approach, the importance, for example, of the private sector mechanism, of the governments, and the importance of all being together, talking about agri-food systems. And also I'm part of Gymnasium World Farmers Organization. I'm also learning about this global context, creating alliances, understanding this global perspective, and how can we actually do some advocacy. So within this helicopter view, right? So we go up and down. This has as a result in different levels in my life. First is in my property. So in 2.5 years, so much have happened and I became a better farmer. So we've done this conscious business assessment and we've got an A rating, which is a great rating compared to where we were with degraded pasture and now how we are. We're taking care of the animals, we're taking care of people, we're taking care of money, we're taking care of the region. In fact, last month, I was also there in Rome in the Sustainable Livestock Transformation event to present the case study about our farm. So I'm becoming a better farmer. Secondly, we are also having the privilege to create, and that's a job, programs for succession in Brazil. So there are cooperatives who are actually hiring me and hiring other people to create programs for succession. And it's funny because it's also about youth, but it's not only about youth. We also have people with 46-year-old that are also in this program. And we are creating technical journeys, individual journeys, and collective journeys for these people to be better at their jobs as well. At the national level, I'm also part right now, we created, because of all these programs, commission within the National Confederation of Livestock and Agriculture. And this commission is about new leaders. And we are really developing all the strategic roles of how can we get more youth into these agri-food systems and how can we be better represented. And last but not least, also I'm having the privilege to go to COP, and we're bringing the perspectives of farmers at the table in this global context. So you can see we're addressing some challenges as succession planning, we're addressing some challenges as advocacy, inclusion, and most of all, food security, right? Because we're ensuring our role as food providers. So education is really, really the way, but it comes with a cost. I'm very aware of my privilege of being here at 4 a.m., of speaking English, of having a support network that can also help me with the farm, with other business that we have. And not everybody have the chance to be here in the basis of volunteerism. And all these programs, they had a cost as well. So it's volunteering from my side, but they also had a cost. So from the other organization side, it also comes with a cost. And if we really want to scale that up, we need to invest in youth. We need more funding. We need to invest in the global South. I still remember last CFS, we had some trouble in bringing people from the global South, also with visa. We had speakers who could not come because of visa affairs. So I can only imagine how we are not being really inclusive in those people to have the right to come here and talk and to really tell their perspective. So existing youth initiatives in these multi-stakeholder platforms cannot exist only in this basis of volunteerism. We really need to create impact with investments, with structured investments and new actions and more of this. More than checking a box, we need to take care and we need to take youth seriously, because in this context of crisis in multilateralism, we need leaders who are able to dialogue. We need leaders who are able to understand different contexts. We need leaders that have a repertoire, that are human, that are aware of the context on the ground, and also that can shape the future. So we need to act, and we need to act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ana Carolina and Femi. And swiftly moving on to further Nuffield scholars with Joana Mendes and David Dolan. Please, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joana Mendes from Nuffield, Australia. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I thank you all for coming. So in the next 3 minutes, it's my mission to explain to you what Nuffield is all about. I want to highlight how amazing this organization is and the potential that it has to empower and develop young people in agri-food systems. And if you're still doubting at the end of my talk and David's, come talk to me, I will convince you. Nuffield started about 65 years ago and is best described as an international network of farmers that are eager to learn, share and improve our food and fiber sector. sectors. To become part of such network, you need to receive a scholarship and have a topic of your own choice. There are two main components to the scholarship: travel and knowledge sharing. Under the travel component, you're required to complete 10 weeks away. It starts with the Contemporary Scholar Conference, the CSC, and it's a week-long international conference where all the awarded scholars for that year meet and greet. The next time they may see each other again is on the GFP, the Global Focus Program. In this planned trip, with about 10 to 15 people, they go for about 4 to 5 weeks visiting various places in pre-arranged meetings around the world. The agenda is busy. You can be visiting embassies in the morning, having lunch with the dairy farmer, and then at the end of the day, end up in the fish market. The GFP is important as it sets the scene for food in the global context. So then when you're left with your individual travel. By this stage, scholars have set up a rich network of people and places that are useful to develop their own research topic. Once all the traveling is done, it's time to share that knowledge. 2 years after being awarded the scholarship, each scholar presents their findings on a national conference. A written report with case studies and highlights of their travel experience is also submitted. Many use this information to improve and implement better practices in their country. If you're interested in these reports, they're all available online. The Nuffield journey doesn't end here. It really is just the beginning. If you're a true Nuffield scholar, you know it's time to give back and you learn that from watching the Nuffield alumni that tirelessly participate in engaging in matters at a local, national, and international level. But let me tell you what Nuffield is really about. It's the people. It's the people we meet along the way. It's the experience we go through together in places we visit. It's about the conversations that challenge and steer the views in your different directions. It's about the passion that we all share for food production. The connection we all have is unified by those who wear the Nuffield badge. There are about 2,000 of us that had the privilege to receive this scholarship. We need more people to be part of this network. There is a need for funding to help us reach out far and wide and bring more geographical diversity into this group. And particularly invest in youth. They are the early adopters and the risk takers. This investment will help shape the future of our food systems. And if you ask me, is guaranteed success. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Dolan. I'm a dairy farmer from Ireland and a Nuffield scholar. The CFS policy guidelines emphasise the need to increase efforts in capacity development for young people and the creation of innovative financial models to facilitate their entry into agriculture. These two are closely intertwined, and as I'd like to elaborate on my colleague Joanna's previous remarks about the Nuffield International Scholarship Programme and the imperative of investing in youth. The industry supports scholarships through bursaries, allowing scholars to access mentorship and travel opportunities to pursue topics of their choice and later share their findings with their prospective countries. This approach benefits not only the industry by fostering innovative ideas, but also for the scholars themselves, as it promotes personal growth and the establishment of a global network. Additionally, the CFS policy guidelines stress the importance of supporting youth engagement and entrepreneurship in agriculture and the food systems, both individually and collective enterprises. Particular attention should be directed towards assisting young female farmers, smallholders and entrepreneurs by offering extension and advisory services that align with the needs and aspirations of youth and their communities. This should be complemented by flexible, inclusive and equitable finance programs. It's worth noting that just last year, Nuffield Australia's scholarships saw a significant representation from women, with 13 out of the 19 recipients being female. Nuffield alumni come from all levels of agricultural business, spanning from small-scale farmers like myself, who manages 100 cows on a 50-hectare milking platform in the Republic of Ireland, to CEOs of innovative ag-tech companies and even crocodile farmers from Zimbabwe. A Nuffield conference is one of the most diverse and inclusive places you can be, and because the programme has been running since 1956, knowledge and experience constantly flows from one generation to the next. Despite the remarkable capacity that has been built within the Nuffield alumni network, which spans over 80 countries and includes a comprehensive database of reports, the challenge remains to reach out to young people, particularly in the global south. This is due to the common obstacle of limited resources and funding that many organisations, including Nuffield, encounter. In light of this, I'd like to propose a question to all of you in the room. How can our organisations collectively seek more resources and funding, work together to create synergies among those exceptional programmes and initiatives? By doing so, we can significantly expand our collective impact and extend our reach to the benefits of a much larger global audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all the panelists. As you can see, we have a lot of stories to share, a lot of insights to share, a lot of impact opportunities to share and hopefully collaborate on. So we are running a little bit late, but I have been informed that we have an extra 5 minutes. So there is room for questions, comments now. I hope that we can take these flexibly so we have a conversation rather than this Q&A. And also, I would have loved to ask you what organizations or type of stakeholder groups you're representing, but I'm cutting that out. I'm trusting you to follow up with these excellent young people here and also with the institutions, the organization represented, so that we can together then elaborate on how we might be able to leverage synergies. So I hand that over to you. But for now, I hand the audience the floor to ask questions. So if you would please raise your hand, you will be passed a mic and you can ask your question. I do have one question online already, so maybe we start by that. In the meantime, you can settle your thoughts and then hopefully accelerate the conversation. So let me just check. Sorry. So the question is from Saskia Dorsers, and I believe directed at the World Food Forum. So please, Saskia, if you could open your camera and your mic and ask your question, please.
Hello. I can't open up my camera sadly, but I wanted to ask you what the results were from the World Food Forum flagship event. I'm really curious what you got out of last week and what you would share as your main takeaways. Thank you.
Please go ahead and answer.
Thank you, Saskia, for your questions. So probably as we have hundreds of sessions last week, and I will answer at least from the part of the some takeaways that we got from our innovation lab. So we found that the appetite for solutions, as shown in my previous presentations of our various competitions, from the research competitions to startups, that the appetite of solution is there. And most of the solutions is actually from local level. And these solutions can only become reality if we have enough support in funding, especially for these young researchers, for these young innovators to scale up, implement their solutions, enable them to expand their solutions and their innovative projects, not only in their region, not only in their local level, but also in the same regional level with similar characteristics. As I previously mentioned, we have many solutions that very niche or very tailored to the challenges in their respective regions. I mentioned one example of a project in Indonesia fighting food waste on household level. One project, our winning project in our Youth Food Lab incubations in Brazil on restorations, on restorations with native vegetations. This kind of project needs continuous support, not only financial, but also technical support in order for them to scale up. And I think that's the main take away from many of our innovation sessions. The second is, of course, collaborations, not only with fellow, not only with FAO and other UN agencies, but also with academia and also with private sectors to allow this kind of transfer of knowledge, technical assistance, and also financial assistance.
Adding up to my colleague Pablo, on local youth action side, there was more than 200 youth from different countries representing their country and youth organizations. So they came up with their youth statement, consulted with youth within their country, what problem they're facing, what actions they need. So I think on this global platform, they had voice to share from where they are, what the problem is facing, and this is also a foster collaboration between multi-stakeholders, and which can also translate this youth statement can be translated into local action. World Food Forum is working with that. World Food Forum local youth action team, we're working closely with FAO country office. We're working closely with very many youth organizations on the local level. So I think as of now, you can understand it is very crucial to work on the ground. And with those powerful youth statements, with those powerful consultation they had on the local level, I think our takeaway is to more focusing on local activities, because the youth I'm representing, youth we are representing, it's not everyone. There is a lot of youth, there is a lot of solutions, there is a lot of innovations, there is a lot of business, there is a lot of things on the local level. So we should start working together as a youth. So, yeah.
Thank you. Audience here in the room, anyone with a question? Yes, please. Go ahead.
Can't believe after listening to such a fantastic panel that this audience doesn't have more questions. So let me start with one for you. And first, let me congratulate the panel. I think we all owe them a huge vote of thanks for the information they've shared with us today. I'm Donald Moore. I'm the Executive Director of the Global Dairy Platform. And I guess I've got a question. I'm a little older than some of the people on the panel. That may not be obvious at this distance. But in 10 years' time, you're going to be back in this room and you're going to be sitting here listening to a youth panel as we are this morning. As you sit in the audience in 10 years' time, what is the one challenge that you are facing in your businesses today that you want to see addressed, that you won't hear from the future you sitting on that panel? What's that one challenge, or indeed what's the one opportunity that you want to make sure has been addressed for youth in that time period? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, if you allow me, let's collect another question so that we're not running out of time again. So please, first question, for whoever feels ready to answer that suitably, you must then step forward. But now, question, go ahead.
Hi, Tammy Kruko from Australia at Top End Leadership. Just want to know, you know, you're all young leaders in your field and making a huge impact as well. What's one thing that has impacted your leadership journey that you'll take away and pass on to someone else?
Thank you. We'll do a second round of questions. So please now, first question, and I don't remember it correctly, I'm so sorry, but it's about what happens if you are in this room 10 years from now, and probably about the impact. Sorry, Donald. The young people are much smarter than I am, so please, Valentina.
Thank you so much for your question, sir. Well, I do hope in 10 years now that there will be created many platforms for youth representative, especially. I do hope that youth representative can be on the part of decision-making processes. So this is my actually first question, just my first answer, to be honest.
Thank you. Does anyone from the panelists would want to answer the question, the second question? Second question. Okay, we have two takers. Josiane, ladies first, and then Kenneth, please.
Thank you. First of all, can I add something very small to what Valentina has said? Yes, we hope to see the youth involved in global policy making discussions, but we just don't want to see them there. We want to make sure that their voice is heard and their opinion is respected during these processes, because being present in the room is not enough. Okay. On the second question, I would like to mention one of the programs that has already enabled me to be here. It's the WO4 Gymnasium program. This is a high capacity building program that trains young farmers to empowers them and trains them to become future leaders in agriculture. Through this program, we are given leadership training, but we are also brought in these rooms, in these conversations, in these conferences. It is in that capacity that I was also able to participate here, and Anna Carolina, one of the speakers online, has also mentioned the program. But this program, it also, after the program, you also get the opportunity to gain a scholarship with the University, Louis University here in Rome, which offers a food program, master's program, which I'm attending currently. So I wish we could have as many programs as those empowering the youth, and not just giving a one-day program, training program, but a continuous support. Thank you.
Okay, for me, so if I want to answer the question, my biggest aspiration for what I want to leave for the younger generation is more of mentorship. So for me, first of all, I'm an NGN ambassador from Nigeria. NGN created the platform to go global. I wanted my voice to be heard. I didn't have the opportunity, but through NGN, they gave me the platform for me to work with other young people from different organizations, from different countries. And that was my first opportunity to work with young people. Moving from there, I joined the IIS, and that was still through NGN, about NGN's work, and there are some of them are on the panel with us. But moving on from there, my current consideration or what I'm looking at is, if I want to leave, I want to be able to mentor the next generation. So which I'm currently doing through IIS. So the next person, I'll be handing over my position by February. So whoever was going to take over from me, I'm currently mentoring them, giving them leadership books, trying to encourage them so that when I leave this scene, the organization can keep running. So I believe for me, one of the things I want to leave is capacity building, create more capacity for more young people, try as much as possible to mentor them in my own little capacity with some of the little experience I've gathered in my own leadership journey. And then also maybe assist them with little books, leadership books, or some other things that can make them become better. These are some of the things I want to leave behind for the next generation. Then beyond that, I also want the younger generation coming, youth like me too. I also want them to be able to tap into some of all these little opportunities and take advantage of it to also change their life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have Omar still wanting to add on this. Okay, so go ahead, Omar.
I will be fast. So I will answer the second question and then build on the first one. Well, one thing is that we always went with the mindset that we don't wait for opportunity, we create it. We keep hearing like all these negotiations going on, and there's no space for us, there's lack of this, lack of that, but then we don't wait for opportunity, we create it with different programs, with different projects. And then that takes me to the next question about from 10 years from now, if I am holding a leadership position, maybe, I would support the young people that come up with their own initiatives and their own opportunities that they create for themselves, and support them with the tools and with the finance that they need to make that happen, and just give them the full trust. So just go with the mindset that we shouldn't wait for opportunity, but we create it.
Thank you so much, Omar. And this is exactly the environment that you can expect to be operating in if you buy into all of this and if you collaborate and build opportunities and co-create opportunities with youth. It's really quite exciting. So everyone is invited to join if you're not already on board. Okay, we had another question in the room. Do you still? Yes, please pass the mic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Camilla Lumbenet, the International Development Organization We Effect. And I was just reflecting that the situation can look very different from depending on where you are. And like we talk about rural areas, or semi-rural, or semi-urban or urban spaces. And just reflecting on that, your experience, what would you say would be the main challenges in accessing funding or finance?
Thank you. Okay, we have a taker with Femi, and I think Anna Carolina, maybe you could add to that as well, if you want.
Okay, thank you. So challenges to actually rural, because I'm a farmer, and I also want to link it with Ronald's question. And what I would like to see is that youth, particularly from the global south, are able to see farming and able to benefit from farming as a sustainable business. Yes, and that links to lack of finance. What are the challenges? Because there are actually no programs, there are not just structures. No structures in place to actually take them on. The challenge of the youth involved in the agri-food system in global south is different from those from the west. And for us, it's not that agriculture is not attractive. No, it's actually the low-hanging fruit. However, we do not have something to plug the low-hanging fruit, even as close as it is to the ground. And that's because there are no structures in place. And what I want to see in the next 10 years is to actually hear of a lot of young guys from part of Africa and many sub-Saharan Africa that they are able to see agriculture and do agriculture to meet their livelihood. They are able to take care of their children. They are able to sit comfortably and say, I am a farmer and this is what is feeding me, and my children can go to school because I am farming. And this can actually be realized when we actually have put structures and systems in place, from ensuring that we have sustainable scale, not only smallholder farmers. Youth do not want to be a smallholder farmer. You need to start small, but I need us to know this. They want to actually do agriculture and be able to make sustainable livelihood and compare themselves with those in the urban area, those actually involved in other professions, and say, yes, I am actually up to myself and I can actually do my responsibility as a citizen of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Femi. And I'm actually going to give 1 minute to Anna Carolina, and then that's the last statement, unfortunately. Time races, and then I'm going to hand it over to Martin de Groot for final remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nella. As Femi was saying, we need to take farming as a business and a sustainable business. And I would say, my last remark, at COP, we also need to talk about payment for environmental services. Because as farmers, we're not only looking for food, but also restoring the environment. We need to have better credit and funding for restoring the environment. And we need to address that in order to have youth and to be part of the solution. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna Carolina. We're going to just jump straight to me because we're between you and your coffee before the plenary. I have the challenge of trying to summarize these 10 brilliant people's statements. First of all, I'd just like to say, I'd like to appreciate Joanna, Omar, and Dawn reminding us that being young is nothing new. Youth have been around for a while, and it's happened to the best of us, and we should remember that and reflect back what it was like and what the challenges were at that point. I think what is new is the attention and the focused platforms that are available to us now to give a little bit more of that focus, like the World Food Forum. There's 5 themes that I captured from what was said. Kenneth and Valentina really brought forward the importance of bringing together old and new, traditional and cutting edge knowledge, and trying to get to that intergenerational transfer of insight. Abdullah and others built on that a little bit in terms of the importance of working together and being collaborative. And I think that's a challenge and sort of lays down the gauntlet for all of us in this room for how we can find ways to work together. Josiane, Pablo, Ana Carolina, and others also really embraced science, innovation, and learning, and how that really is essential. And I think it's clear that these aren't people sitting still. These are people reaching forward for knowledge and insight as a way to bring themselves forward. I think as well, Gaxa, Femi, others spoke to a very deep environmental awareness and a commitment to sustainability. And that's something that has to sit in the center of the work going forward with youth. Otherwise, we won't get past the challenges that sit in front of us. And something that ran through it all, but particularly coming from Engine and Nuffield, is how important it is to be youth-led at all levels, local, national, global, to be inclusive of different spaces, different youth, and really to take youth seriously. That this isn't just participation for participation's sake, this is serious business. So coming out of that, I hope you heard why it's necessary. I think Femi's quote, the looming low-income life, that's going to stick with me for a long time. To avoid that looming low-income life is something that we need to collectively work towards. That it's possible to do good investment in youth. I think Ana Carolina spoke to it with that they're already making investments. They're already planning for succession. It's happening. It's possible, and with the commitment, it can move forward. And then finally, that investing in youth pays off. And I think maybe the way Nuffield said it is really interesting. It not just pays off, it pays back. It circles around. So this isn't a one-way street. This comes back in a very positive way. Two other quotes from our esteemed panelists. Femi, best way to predict the future is to create it. And Omar kicking us off with, you want youth on your side. Now, if you bring those two together, I think that sets us on a really good path forward for how we can increase investment in youth, take this to heart, and carry us forward. Thank you so much to all of our panelists. Thank you all for being here, both in the room and online. Have a good cup of coffee.